This week I'm sharing with you guys my process of installing 100 watts of solar and 2 new batteries on my 27-foot boat. I'm currently in French Polynesia in the Tuamotus, which are a very remote series of reefs. Everything that I have had to come from Tahiti, either on a plane or on the cargo ship. So this is a low budget, a lot of DIY way of installing solars. Welcome to Hippie Sailing. I am single-handing my Grind 27 around the world. I started my trip in Maine with a very cold 10-month overhaul of my entire boat. Solo sailed through the Caribbean, the Panama Canal, 41 days alone across the Pacific, and now I am sailing in French Polynesia, trying to learn French, living the castaway lifestyle of my dreams, and doing a bunch of awesome sailing. On board the Geck, I have no fridge, water maker, fancy electronics, and my dinghy is a rowboat with a sail rig. If you're interested in seeing what I'm doing in my daily life, check out my Instagram @BoatLizard. I'm joined in my adventures by fellow single-hander Jarne Schmidt. He is from Belgium. He left 2 years ago on his Belgian-built Spirit 32. We met in Panama a little over a year ago, and we've been buddy boating through the Pacific ever since then. This whole project, all told, took me about 2 months, but that was because I was trying to get everything that I needed from Tahiti out to this atoll, either on the supply ship, by airplane, or personally carrying it on the airplane. The first thing that I did was accompany my mom, who was visiting me, back to Tahiti to see her off on her international flight to the States, and I stayed an extra half day after her flight to do some shopping of my own. My visit with my mom will be in an upcoming episode, so no worries there. My mom and I had a ton of fun in Tahiti yesterday, just being tourists. And she left last night, and today I've been doing some shopping of my own. So I just wanted to show you guys some things that I've purchased on my visit to Tahiti. We have, aluminum, strapping, a lot of electrical wire, and some water pipe, and then all of these stainless fittings. And best of all, guess who just bought 2 new 50-watt solar panels? This kid. This is insane because I have to leave at 11 o'clock this morning to get to the airport. I got up at 6 and I've been running around Tahiti, and I cannot believe that I bought solar panels. It's gonna be really fun trying to get on the plane with all this stuff. I have a lead on stainless pipes, and it is, what time is it? 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to run down to the marina, and hopefully it's something that he can just grab out of a warehouse close by, because I have 2 hours to get down there, get the shit, come back here, pack everything up, check out of the hotel, and get to the airport. Oh, Tahiti is so relaxing. I made it on the plane and was able to check my solar panels, stainless pipes, and everything else, and was soon comfortably seated and heading back to Fakarava with the first set of haul. The next step was installing the stainless piping to make a new, more reinforced rail for my boat. What I'm doing now is taking my new stainless pipe and replacing this stanchion here and this lifeline with solid stainless piping. Here are the pipes, and here are my end fittings. This guy over here is going to go on the pipe at the end and attach to this tab on the back of the stern pulpit. And that stainless pipe will run all the way to the elbow fitting, which will go to this vertical stanchion with my new stainless pipe there. These will be the basis for the solar panels. First, I'm removing the lifeline so that I can get the old stanchion out and use it to measure the new stanchion. Nice. With stainless, it's good to drill in small bursts so that the drill doesn't get too hot, and also have some sort of a lubricating oil. Basically, it's really hard to drill through, and you don't want the bit to heat up too much because then it fucks up the bit and it takes forever. And you start with a tiny bit and then you go slowly bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm really glad I only have to do 2 of these. I started with 1/16, and now I am just slowly sizing up these holes until they get to be the right size, and they need to get to be this size, so I have a ways to go. And the next thing is cutting the stainless to the right size. A trick for cutting stainless is to take your mark that you want to cut on and then put a piece of tape on it. It helps you not only know where you're cutting, but it also moves the mark all the way around the stainless without you wavering up and down. Yarna is making the last cut of the stainless. I'm really excited to see how this turned out. All the pieces are cut to length and everything is assembled together. Now what I'm going to do is run new lifelines. I have some Dyneema that I'm going to run as new lifelines on the top. How mad is that?
Nice.
Step one done. My next step was to source all the other materials that I needed. In Tahiti, it's very common for businesses to put materials onto the cargo ships and send them out to the islands. Through a marine chandlery in Tahiti, I was able to find my 2 batteries and my charge controller, and through a solar company in Tahiti I was able to find the solar cables. Next was to sail my boat with Yarna up to town to catch the cargo ship so that I could get my batteries, my solar cable, and an extra little treat that we bought for the big day.
Holy Martian. Martian as in Martian.
I'm tied up to the public wharf right now. You can see the ship in the background, and I'm doing a little unboxing video for you guys.
Yes, a necessity to keep the boat running smoothly.
I'm just like so excited with the opportunities that I'm experiencing in this little atoll.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoa.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
So I ordered some rum on Facebook from Tahiti, and here it is. This is insane. How do you
10 liters it says. Yeah.
10 liters of rum in a bag.
Nice.
Items number 2 and 3 are in this box. Big thank you to everyone who donated money to my solar panel fund and my battery fund and everything, because without you guys I would not have been able to afford AGMs. Oh my god, this is like so exciting. The first thing is this charge controller. It's in blue and orange, or as some people would say, sapphire and pumpkin. It's a little bigger than what I need, but let's be honest, no one cares if it's too big. A quick explanation for those of you who are fuzzy on what the chain of command is for solar power on boats. Basically, it goes solar panels, and those are led into a charge controller, which then goes to the battery. And the charge controller regulates the volts coming in from the panels and makes sure the batteries don't get overcharged. And the Victron MPPT smart controller is able to regulate the amount of flow from the panels. So if it detects the batteries are particularly low, then it will allow more volts to flood the batteries and fill them up more quickly. And when it notices the batteries are starting to get full, it goes into float mode, which is just keeping them topped up. My new batteries. I really hope they fit though, they look really big.
I thought you didn't care if it's too big.
Well, now I do.
They don't have a handle, mine have a handle. That would have been nice. But
Oh, yeah.
on the side. I don't think so.
It's for this deadlift.
Perfect form, straight back.
Don't use your legs, it's all in the back.
Sexy.
Yeah, check this out. These beasts are 110 amp hour Victron AGM batteries. I originally bought lead acid batteries because they were the cheapest option and I was overhauling my boat on a very tight budget. But when I realized that I was going to need new batteries again, I could choose the batteries that best suited my lifestyle. I toyed around with lithium for a while, but I have pretty simple systems, so I realized that lithium was a little overboard for my needs. And so I went with the next best thing in my opinion, which is AGM. AGM batteries are closed cell, which means they're maintenance free, whereas lead acid have water that needs to be topped up in them every now and then. One of the reasons I like AGM is because they're deep cycle marine batteries than lead acid, which means I can dip further into the battery's reserves without it damaging the batteries. Another great thing about AGM is that they're able to handle short bursts of high voltage output for things like electric winches, bow thrusters, or in my case, starting my engine. I don't have a separate engine start battery, but my engine is a 10-horse diesel, and the energy it takes to start it is similar to pushing your bow thruster if you're on a 50-foot boat. Alright, I have my old batteries out of the box, and Yarna is going right now to give them to the right battery disposal bin. Here are my new babies. This is my battery box, and I have this little jumper guy to go between the negatives, so I'm really hoping that it fits between these. A potential future problem with these batteries is that the bolts are oriented horizontally, whereas my old batteries, the bolts were oriented vertically. I already checked their size and they should fit in the battery box just fine. This is what I used to shim my old batteries because the box I built a little large in case I needed to get new batteries at some point. So I'm not sure if this shim will still fit, but the important part is that they fit in the box. So here we go. Okay. These little finger holds are really annoying when you're trying to get your hands into a box. I much prefer the strap on top kind. I must say, I really don't like this style with the bolts like this. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Alright, look at that! And yeah, the shim is a little small, so I'm gonna have to put something else in there, but it's better than nothing for now. As I feared, I'm having kind of a hard time getting all of my old terminations onto these new style of horizontal bolts. Not really sure why Victron needed to change something that was great. Vertical bolts for the win! Okay, new batteries are installed. The stupid tabs are stupid because this angle is horrible and the wire isn't long enough to go in through here, which would be nice. And this angle is really bad, and this angle is really stupid, but they are in, so that's good. Fuck you, Victron. I don't know why you made such horrible attachment points, but there you go. Now I get to install the new charge controller, and then I'm going to throw the panels on deck because I don't have a way of mounting them yet. Shut up, my little box. I don't want to hurt my new batteries. And then tomorrow I'm going to start installing them. Now I'm connecting up my new charge controller, and my drill battery is dead. So I can't mount it yet because the inverter also isn't wired in anymore because I couldn't use it for a very long time and I was using it on Yarna's boat, and pretty soon everything will be up and running electrically speaking on my boat, but right now I just want to get things installed and panels out on the deck and see how the system works. So PV means wires coming from the panel, and BAT, believe it or not, means battery. So the way these thingies work is that you open it with a little guy screwdriver, and then underneath, and you just stick it in. Last one is the positive. Oh, it looks like someone crunched this up. It was me. And that goes in here. It's actually infinitely easier to hook these up before this thing is mounted. This is called screwless mounting because you just stick it in the drawer, fastener free, baby. Alright, these are my two panels and their respective wires and the 10 liters of rum. What I'm gonna do, since the port side of my boat gets the most sun, is just connect them up to the buses that are here on my newly mounted charge controller. And just put them on the side deck for today. Operation temporary solar panels putting in. I am giving the wires to Yarna. He's gonna run them out onto the deck. Then we're gonna put the panels out onto the deck connected to the wires. And this is right. It's not working.
So much power!
Alright.
Bam!
Yeah, I'm gonna sand them down. Alright, so first they go through this clip, and then I'm leading them through this clip, and then they go over this light. And then I will, it's really long, then I'm gonna coil this. Oh my god. I'm so glad that it's the standard to keep all these in the walls. This is ridiculous. Alright. Cut. Rightio. Here's my temporary solar panel setup. The last step of this mission is installing the railings on the back of the solar panels to attach them to my new stanchions. So these rails I found on a Facebook marketplace website from a sailor selling them off in Tahiti. Very cool, very exciting. They're actually the exact same ones that Yarna has. And each rail has one of these guys on it. So this slides into the rail like this. And this you unscrew all the way, and this bit slips over your stanchion rail. So this is gonna go over here. And then with this little guy, you adjust and tighten the panel to the desired tightness. So what Yarn is doing right now is measuring how short to cut these sliders. And we're gonna cut all 4 of these to length and then attach them onto my panels. The panels already have holes in them, which is really handy. And the ones that I found, I didn't look for these panels specifically. This is just all that was available to me, and so I bought them. But in case you're wondering, they are C-Power 50-watt panels. Probably nothing special, but they should do the job.
I think this is a Victron trademark.
So they're probably Victroff or some knockoff brand because they were made in China. While Yarna is cutting and measuring these runners, I have the heinous task of emptying out the quarter berth and getting the wire run prepped. So the plan is to run the wires from both these panels through deck fittings that I already have in place, and then they're going to all come together, and then I'm going to run one wire underneath the whole quarter berth and over to the charge controller. I initially thought I could run each of the panels wiring through these old deck fittings that I never bothered to get rid of. However, I quickly realized that the holes were too small. My 40-watt panel in the back is run through a large deck fitting, so I realized that I could lead those wires through one of the smaller deck fittings and take the giant new wires for my bigger panels and lead them through that white through deck fitting. Alright, let's check in with Yarna. I didn't have enough small bolts to attach the runners to the panels, so I've just shown him a really cool trick that I learned from a boatyard friend in the States. If you have to cut a bolt smaller, first thread the nut onto it below where you're cutting. Then after the cut is made, you can unthread the bolt and it unburrs the threads, allowing you to use the bolt as you wish. It's a really good trick if you don't have a tap and die set or you just want to impress your friends at a party. Alright, I'm at the phase where I have the wires strung out from both ends and leading towards the hole. So I'm going in the quarter berth to pull them through, and then we're going to make it up. I have connected all of the positives and all the negatives together. All the negatives, all the positives, and I've taped them off to keep all the connections happy and separate and connected to the little bus guys. And now I'm getting ready to secure those. These are now tied to this convenient scupper drain. And these are the wire leads, and they're going to run behind here, which is behind the cockpit, and they're going to come along this way under the quarter berth and then up and into behind where the charge control. Ladies and gentlemen, the finished product is here. Check out these beauts. These panels are fast and safely mounted onto the rail here with these little adjusty knob guys. The wires are zip tied onto my rail here, and both sets of wires from the panels were just barely able to fit into this old white connector. The 40-watt panels fit happily into the other smaller connector. These guys are really easy to adjust. I just made the tension just enough so that it stays where I put it, but loose enough that if I put pressure on it, I can actually turn them up and down to angle them correctly to whatever degree the sun currently is at. This project has been so long in the making. I can't believe that I actually have 140 watts of solar on my boat now. This means that I'm able to run my AIS 24 hours when I'm out at sea instead of just at peak times during the night, and I can charge my laptop pretty much whenever I want to. So life is really good. Thanks for watching this week's video. I put up new videos every 2 weeks on YouTube, and for my patrons, you guys get a short little snack on the weeks I don't put up a YouTube video. Thank you so much to all of my patrons who are supporting me and making this lifestyle possible. And also thank you to everyone who donated money. You guys really truly made it so that I can have this beautiful solar system. Thank you, Tish, for putting these videos from Dropbox where I upload them onto YouTube with your superior internet connection. Thank you guys for all of your comments. I read them as soon as I have a good enough internet connection. Anyway, thanks for watching this week's video. It helps me a lot if you like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks with another full-length video.